Hello, everyone. Welcome to the PTAC-MLS Podcast. I'm Lauren Savoie, President and CEO of PTAC, Petroleum Technology Alliance Canada. Today, we're continuing the momentum from the PTAC Methane Leadership Summit in Banff, moving the conversation beyond talk and into credible, scalable action on methane. I'm joined by Travis Wiens, Business Development Manager, Emissions at SLB Canada, and a platinum sponsor of the PTAC-MLS 2026. Travis, thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you for hosting us. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Me too. So with that, let's get into expectations going into the event. Before you arrived in Banff, what were you hoping to get out of PTAC-MLS 2026?
Well, for me, I came in with an open mind, and I really wanted to get a feel for the mood in the room. It was very different from the year before, and what stood out to me was a renewed sense of optimism. Last year, we had just been faced with the challenges of tariffs, and this year, we've had recent changes to the Alberta Energy Regulators Directive 60. We've had changes to Environment Climate Change Canada's gazettes with their recent updates. But there's still a lot of positive outlook and a sense that industry is ready to move forward.
No, I definitely sense that optimism there too, which was quite exciting. So was there a specific question you wanted answered or a signal you were watching for there?
I was really listening to see whether the conversation was shifting from uncertainty, which is certainly what we saw the year before, to more of an execution-based thought process. The question for me was whether companies are still focused mainly on compliance or whether they're starting to think more about in terms of performance, operations, and what their next steps are.
Let's jump into SLB. So what was SLB's purpose for being at PTAC-MLS this year? What problem or opportunity around methane were you hoping to advance?
Well, we were really there to listen, connect, and talk about practical methane solutions that operators can use in the field. For SLB, it's an important time. Not only is it our 100th anniversary, but we've also got the adoption of ChampionX methane detection technology. We've expanded what we can bring to our customers in terms of detection, measurement, and mitigation. So the opportunity for us was to move the conversation beyond compliance towards what really works operationally, solutions that are credible, scalable, and make sense in the real world. PTAC-MLS is a great place to hear where industry is headed and that uniquely Canadian perspective.
To summarize it then, if PTAC-MLS had a mission objective for you, what was it?
The mission objective for us was to listen closely, to see where industry was going on methane, and to show that SLB can help with practical, field-ready solutions. In addition of the ChampionX methane detection technology, we wanted to show where our strengths are and what we can offer customers, not just on detection, but on building a more complete methane management approach.
MLS happened last week, and with that, you've had time to reflect. Did PTAC-MLS deliver on what you were looking for, and what stood out most?
I definitely think it did deliver on what I was looking for. What stood out the most to me was a sense that industry recognizes both how progress has already been made and how much work still lies ahead. A 50% reduction from the 2014 levels is a major accomplishment, but getting to 75 by 2035 is going to require more coordination, more investment, and technologies that can perform to scale. Another important takeaway was the level of alignment across industry and government. That matters because progress at this stage is going to depend on policy, investment, and execution moving forward. Finally, PTAC's role stood out. PTAC has a real ability to connect research, field trials, producers, and emerging technologies in a way that helps innovation move forward.
And with all those people in the room, was there a conversation or moment that made you think this is why this event matters?
I think the event matters because it brings the entire methane conversation into one room. You've got operators, government officials, researchers, technology providers, even some startups that keep focus on practical progress. It's not just talking through the challenge, but it's about comparing what's working, identifying, and figuring out what it's going to take to move from targets to real results. Methane reduction today sits at an intersection of emission performance, operational efficiency, technology, and policy. PTAC-MLS creates that space for honest conversations about what can actually scale in the field. And just as importantly, PTAC acts as that connector, linking researchers, producers, emerging technologies, so that collaboration can turn into real deployment.
And with a lot of those conversations too, one theme that came up repeatedly was moving from detection to decision grade data. In practical terms, what makes methane data actionable versus just interesting?
I think what makes the data actionable is trust. Operators need data that tells them not just that methane is present, but how big is the issue, how quickly they need to respond, and what to do first. This matters even more than ever because regulatory expectations have become more specific. If repair timelines, action plans are tied to emission rates, then understanding that size and the flow of the leak becomes critical. That's the difference between interesting data and data you can actually use to make decisions.
How does SLB's approach help operators turn methane measurement into faster remediation, credible reporting, and sustained performance?
SLB is uniquely situated as a one-stop shop with a combination of optical gas imaging cameras, methane point sensors, open path laser systems, and even LiDAR options. We help our customers find emissions faster, respond more effectively, and build reporting that they can stand behind. The real value is turning measurement into better decisions, faster remediation, and stronger long-term performance. As a technology provider, we advise our clients on which combination of sensors best deliver the results that they're looking for. There's no one-size-fits-all solution, and in most cases, the best approach is often a layered one. That might include site-level OGI cameras that can physically locate leaks, point sensors that can pinpoint and triangulate where emissions are coming from, or drones or other aircraft that can be equipped with either optical gas imaging cameras or open path laser systems, which can cover more sites and, more importantly, hard to reach areas. But some situations are larger and they require a different solution. LiDAR cameras are often the right tool where a single camera can replace multiple sensors and provide coverage for an entire facility. By combining this incredible data from all of these sources, our customers are able to respond quickly, remediate effectively, and ultimately operate more efficiently.
What's the biggest misconception companies still have about methane monitoring today?
Well, I think the biggest misconception is that methane monitoring is still only about compliance. When it's really used well, it can become an operational tool. It can help operators prioritize repairs, improve maintenance, reduce production loss, and help make better decisions in the field.
So let's just jump into some key takeaways here. What are one or two key takeaways you're carrying forward from PTAC-MLS 2026?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway was the momentum in the industry. Just seeing that overall positivity. There's a lot of focus between industry and government working together in the same direction, something we haven't seen in a long time. Another one is that the next phase is going to depend on how quickly we can turn that technology into results in the field.
So, to summarize that up, looking ahead, what should the next phase of methane conversation focus on over the next year, practically speaking?
I think the next phase should focus on making the data actionable as efficiently as possible, whether it's shortening up the response times to a leak or integrating detector technologies directly into SCADA systems to improve overall operational efficiency. The goal is the same, taking that data and making it actionable.
Would you recommend PTAC-MLS to others for 2027? And who do you think absolutely needs to be in the room next year?
I would definitely recommend it to anybody who is in operations, academia, even service companies, anyone who wants to contribute and learn in a meaningful way and help connect those ideas, experiences, and technology that can help us lead to real progress. For me personally, I was recommended to come to PTAC-MLS a few years ago, and it's been a great experience for me every time.
So to close us off, in one sentence, what's your Monday morning takeaway for leaders serious about methane performance?
I would say if you are serious about methane performance and turning detection into decision-making, SLB brings together the technology, the people, the know-how, and with more than a century of experience, we can help turn those measurements into action.
Fantastic. So thank you for joining us, and a sincere thank you to SLB Canada and your leadership and support for PTAC-MLS. We look forward to picking this back up at the PTAC Methane Leadership Summit 2027, which is scheduled for April 13th and 14th, again in Banff. Thank you very much for joining us today, Travis.
I look forward to seeing you again next year.
Perfect.